I'm making this video right now. I don't know if you guys can hear me. If you can, good. If not, anyways, I'm making this video because right now everybody is fighting about bullshit, about stuff that doesn't matter. Meanwhile, we have the very real problems that so many people have protested about, Monsanto being one of the biggest ones. The fact that all of our food is laced with toxic chemicals, and they're not just poisoning our food, and they're doing it on a world, like a global scale. So it's a real problem for everybody, not just people in America, not just poor people. It's more poor people, because the worst stuff is the fast food. I mean, it's horrible. We basically live in food deserts. That's what the United States is, because there's not really any good food choices. So everybody's forced to pick between Pepsi or Coke, at the restaurant. And the water they have is crap. It's all poison, laced with fluoride. It's just, it would be nice if instead of calling out, or instead of saying that North Korea was our biggest threat, it would be nice if say the types of things that he was saying when he was campaigning, that we weren't going to be the world's police, that we were going to go after all these corporations that were screwing everyone over, because we've been distracted. We've been sold a lie that North Korea. I mean, that's the thing. Just the other day, he gave a speech at the United Nations. Trump did, and he was saying that I wrote some notes. I don't know exactly what. I want to find these because so that I can give you like a real succinct. Oh, it's in my journal here. So I wrote some notes about Trump's speech at the United Nations just the other day, and because it really shows, in my opinion, the way that he's being manipulated. And at the end of the day, Trump is not controlling our course as a nation, because your decisions are only as good as your information. If you have bad information, if you're getting bad intelligence, you're not going to make good decisions. And so this whole speech was a teleprompter. He read it off a teleprompter, and he was saying, so this was on the September 19th, chaos, turmoil, and terror. Those are some of the words in his speech. It says, scourge of our planet. So I guess North Korea and the Kim Jong-un regime is the great scourge of our planet. Not Monsanto, not the fluoride in our water, not corporations like the Alphabet, Google, and the censorship on the web from these companies, not the fact that lobbyists have basically hijacked our whole political system, not just here in America, but all over the world. Not the fact that big corporations like ExxonMobil, Shell, BP, Monsanto, not that they've taken over the ownership of, they privatized the infrastructure in third world countries and basically held people at the gunpoint while, selling them back their own God-given resources. Not that they've basically denied everybody of their human, their human rights. We don't have a Bill of Rights in America anymore. But we're supposed to hate Kim Jong-un. That's who our enemy is right now. That's who they want us to believe the great scourge of the planet is. And in his speech, he said, no one has shown more contempt for other nations or the well-being of their own people than the depraved regime of North Korea. And he said that Kim Jong-un, or the North Korean regime, has starved millions of North Koreans, they've imprisoned, tortured, oppressed, and killed countless more. So just to break that down, right now he's just painting a picture. So we're all just going to get on this hate. We're going to fill our hearts with hate, and I guess send bombs to kill millions of people, and it's all going to be okay. Even though we were told during the election that he was not going to start wars. In fact, he was going to end these wars, and he was going to worry about what was going on here in America. And the reason why the left is not is not being successful, and I'm not coming from that perspective, but the reason why the Democrats can't really seem to make a good argument, except is because all they're saying is that Trump is racist. If you want to stop Trump, stop calling him a Nazi, stop saying he's racist, stop saying he's a fascist, because it's a non sequitur. It ends the debate, and it has no power. It's shallow. It's a mile wide and an inch deep. It doesn't matter. You could say anybody is racist or a bigot or whatever. It's like you're putting a label on them. What they need to do is have real arguments against what the Trump administration is doing and the people that Trump is giving power to, in the way that Trump does with his speech, but do it with a real argument like I am, basically saying that he's done nothing to stop companies and corporations, international corporations like Monsanto and Merck and Bayer, the pharmaceutical industry. He hasn't stopped them from advertising on people's TVs, telling them that they need to start taking all these drugs. He's done nothing to prevent these companies from hurting millions of people, billions around the world. Really, it's billions. There's supposed to be 7+ billion people in the world. So, and these corporations operate with immunity in many countries all around the world, and that's why their agenda is global. It's Agenda 2020, or what is it, 2030 now? Their new agenda. It used to be Agenda 21 for the 21st century, and now this is their new agenda. But it's a global agenda, just like the one before it, and it's to set up. Really, they already have. There's a new structure of power in the world. We talk about in history there was feudalism. Well, there's a neo-feudalism aspect to the 21st century, in that corporations are the lords and governments are the knights that go around and make sure that the serfs obey and pay their tribute, and that's what's going on. And Trump, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, he is the head of a system that was hijacked. And the system needs to be called out, not just Donald Trump. And it does no good to point out or to call somebody racist. It does. What needs to happen is people as a whole need to become aware of the ways in which this system is destroying everyone, and that's what needs to change. And that's the scourge of the planet. Donald Trump is this system that allows corporations like Monsanto to kill billions of people, that allows companies like Merck to advertise their drugs on TV or tell people through their puppets in the CDC that vaccines are safe and effective, and have no liability, have no accountability when people are hurt by their product. That's a bad deal. Merck needs to get fired, not Kim Jong-un, and so that's how I would criticize Trump. If I was going to criticize him, it would be to call him out for his basically canned speech saying that Kim Jong-un is the scourge of the planet when we have way more dangerous people operating out of our own country that need to be reined in. And I can't believe that Trump doesn't know that. If I know that where I'm at, Trump must know that. But people need to call him out for those things, because by criticizing him, you're creating a debate. And we need to have a real debate. That's what America needs. That's what the world needs right now. That's what started the revolution. Just like Donald Trump said in his speech when he quoted John Adams, the revolution began in the hearts and the minds. The revolution was effected before the war. It began in the hearts and the minds of the people in America. Because the revolution was, like Donald Trump said, a collective realization that we are a nation. And we need to have a collective realization that we're all spiritual beings. We're all sentient beings having a physical experience on this earth. Just like so many wise people have said before us, that we're not just a bag of flesh, and this is not just some kind of random happenstance, that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and that's why we can perceive and hypothesize and create and manifest whatever we can imagine. I really do believe, like it's written in the Bible, that the Tower of Babel, it was said that God struck the tower down and struck the people. He didn't strike the tower down. He struck people in such a way that they would have different languages, because he understood that if we came together, that if we came together for this evil purpose, that nothing could stop us. And I think that's a powerful metaphor or allegory for an understanding that humanity as a whole has limitless potential to manifest a paradise or hell on earth. And right now we have, in some ways, a hell on earth, because we have organizations poisoning little kids, and that, I mean, it just really doesn't get much darker than that. So Monsanto and Merck and Bayer and Johnson & Johnson, those are the scourge, in some cases, of the planet, not Kim Jong-un and the North Korean regime. So I'm calling Donald Trump out on his speech before the United Nations. I'm calling BS on that. We don't need another war with another third world country. We need to fix the very real problems we have right here in America. Just like you said during your campaign, and you wouldn't be where you are without the people. And so we need to, point out these facts and give you backup. And I'm giving you permission to call out the real enemies of the Republic, to call out the real enemies of humanity. And if you don't do it, then you're one of our enemies as well, in a way. So I hope we can start having a real discussion about the real problems.